back to the channel, guys. My name is Comrade Bench, and I'm here today to show you a video uploaded by Anthony Fantano, otherwise known as the internet's busiest music nerd, where he's talking about the incoming slopocalypse, as he calls it, of generative AI music. Now, I made a separate video about this that I haven't actually uploaded yet, but when I saw this video, I thought it gave good context for what I had to say. So, yeah, let's get into it.
All right, hey everyone, it's Anthony Fantano, the internet's busiest music nerd. I don't mean to scare you in this video, but I actually do. I intend to freak you out a little bit. I want you going pee-pee in your diapers. Not out of a need or a desperation to further feed into the internet outrage economy. Lord knows there's enough of that already, and we all gotta do it sometimes, okay guys? We all gotta do it. No, this is like more vitally important because there's a storm a-coming that I need you guys to be prepared for. Whether that be like a literal preparedness that allows you to function through the oncoming AI apocalypse, the slopocalypse, the slopocalypse, the slopocalypse, the slopocalypse. Here's the thing, the main brains, the main maestros who we have covered on this channel, be it Suno or Udio, the guys who are really like at the forefront of all of this bullshit, terrible, trash, garbage AI music that you see just flooding the internet right now. These companies for a minute have been locked into a very vital lawsuit with the major labels because it was pretty fucking obvious these platforms were using major label music to train their AI programs and interfaces, and in some cases like spitting out carbon copy music of certain artists' works, or even just like, you know, their voices.
So, that's definitely a no-no. That's where I would draw the line with generative AIs, that you can't copy something that already exists, right? That's got rights to it, copyright rights, and you're making a derivative work based off that, and you're affecting the market of that original piece. I think what he's getting at here is the type of generative AI songs that are like, this song done in country style, or this song done in rock, and where it's changing up the genre, but it's keeping all the lyrics and the melody and everything the same. So essentially, if you were doing that in real life, you would need to have some form of licensing to perform essentially a cover song. And there has been news of generative AI being used to make cover songs and then licensing those instead of the original, which is a lot cheaper. So that's definitely an area of concern.
That lawsuit has actually sort of ended recently in a settlement and what is essentially a licensing deal. Guys, this is not good. I stress, this is not good, because when you see the fine print and the articles and the coverage around this settlement, this whole agreement isn't to bring Suno and Udio to heel and put.
Yeah, that it was never going to be that. When the music industry takes someone to court, if you think back to music streaming, when music streaming first became a thing, the initial reaction from music labels was against streaming, but once they learned how to monetize it, they were fine. Same situation here. There's no real moral stance that the music industry is going to take there as long as they can make a buck. That's why I'm really not surprised that they settled and didn't take it to court, where there could be some precedent set for the use of music in AI.
Put them in a position where they're, you know, going to be operating at a point of weakness. No, Suno, Udio, probably any other up and coming AI music generation platform, and the majors are going to start working together hand in hand. These platforms are going to be operating in a way now with major label support and permission, which means what we have been seeing so far is only going to get worse.
So the deal that has been struck uh, allows for the use of music that is licensed by these record labels with the artists and rights holders' permission in training AI models released by Suno and platforms that are like them. So, so far, we only really know that it's a permission system, so that music is used and licensed legitimately with the rights holder or artist's permission. It's not, as far as we're aware, a free for all where they can use the exact music, instrumentation, or lyrics, or anything like that. It's just for training.
I know that there has been a lot of super mediocre and terrible AI music coming out as of late. And I kind of theorize that part of the reason that is that settlement, that agreement, the end to that lawsuit hadn't quite arrived yet. So Suno and Udio and similar platforms were afraid of having their platforms drop output that essentially sounded too much alike the music that was on these labels that they were getting sued by. But
See, this implies that the music that they were using was of lower quality, and that's why generative AI music hasn't achieved or broken out of sounding like slop. But that's just not the case. It doesn't matter if they're using popular songs that are held by record labels or if they're using indie, unreleased music. Like, there's no quality difference there from the perspective of the AI. The AI is taking all this music, turning it into data points, which it then goes through a pattern analysis and identifies patterns and uses those patterns to form predictions about what to output. And because of that, the AI model is always going to choose the most common or most statistically likely choice, which means that all the music kind of sounds the same and it doesn't have any unique quality to it. It's not novel. It's chorus, verse, and even the instruments and the singing has all the imperfections smoothed out, averaged out, because anything that stands out is an outlier to AI. So even when you prompt to break these cycles, like don't use 4/4, don't use chorus verse structure, you end up breaking the AI model and the output is just terrible. So there is an upper limit for AI as we know it. I think a lot of people think generative AI is this magic that can produce anything, but it's not. It can only produce what it's seen before. And it might sound different to anything else, but it's based on only things that it's seen before. And it's really not good at a lot of genres because of that. The genres that it is useful in some capacity for is, your generic pop and EDM, electronic sort of music, music that is highly predictable, where rhyming in lyrics like is an indication of songwriting, where there's more arithmetic involved in the music. Whereas things like punk, spoken word, blues, industrial, metal, rap, alternative, like all these other genres where there is a lot more variation and a lot less sticking to norms, it's just terrible at it. It can't do those genres. And it's not going to get better because the fundamental way that AI works doesn't allow it. AI only works on pattern recognition and predictability and the prompts that are given to it. Now, with the major artists, they could allow them to take unique features of that artist and try to add that into the mix. But again, it's something you've already seen. And if it's recognizable, then it's just going to be derivative of that artist and remind people of that artist. So it's not going to sound like an original work, and you're going to know it's AI like pretty quickly. There's a reason why AI music today sounds no better than AI music at the start of the year, while text based LLMs and coding have come so far in comparison because AI is not actually artificial intelligence, it's machine learning. It's just learning patterns. It's a superpowered dictionary or an encyclopedia, thesaurus. It's just super quick at giving you the answer to the question in the most objective way or statistically significant way that it can. There's no intent behind what it does, there's no decision making, there's just most likely output.
Now that things have been settled, we are at a point where once Suno, Udio, and the major labels are just ready to let her fucking rip and allow these platforms and their users to just carbon copy, create as much major label artist music as they want, just to their heart's desire.
We don't know if they're allowed to carbon copy, though those details of the deal haven't been made public.
Going to be an absolute fucking bloodbath on the internet. Maybe bloodbath is the wrong word. I think like Mount St. Helens style disaster is maybe like more appropriate of a comparison here.
He's really amping it up. He's actually it goes against what he said at the beginning, where he doesn't want to add to the rage on the internet, but this is catastrophizing.
Because what you're likely going to experience on social media is going to be a lot like an ash cloud that not only makes it impossible to breathe and exist, but you won't even see your own hand in front of your face because the tidal wave of AI slop you are going to be just absolutely bashed over the head with no matter what corner you turn.
Generative AI video's been around for a while now, right? And you do have those apps that are completely generative AI video. I don't use those. And then my social media uh, has no AI slop in it because I don't stop and look at AI slop. I don't get fooled by fake looking AI videos. So my algorithm has filtered them out. So this whole idea that no matter where you turn, there's going to be AI generated stuff everywhere, just suffocating everything else down, discounts the role that algorithms play in curating music. And I mean, if you are really scared of AI music, don't use Spotify. Use Apple Music, use Tidal. You have a choice. Like, Spotify is such a controversial company right now anyway, with the way that its CEO is investing his money. Like, I think ethically it's just a good idea not to use Spotify. Sorry, you're not going to get your year wrapped, but is that really worth supporting a billionaire that is investing in mass surveillance and weapons?
It's going to be almost impossible to avoid. Like, let's say you're a really impassioned member of the Lady Gaga fandom, the Little Monsters. The major labels and the slot merchants that are going to be using these platforms, they're not going to be able to help themselves. Any metric by which you would keep track of your favorite artist's work and, artistic trajectory is going to be flooded with morons just making one bullshit fake fake copy Lady Gaga song after another and basically copy and paste for any other major top 40.
I'm sorry, what Lady Gaga fan is searching Lady Gaga in the search bar and going through tracks? They have the albums in their library and they go straight to those and play those. The argument for this, I guess, could be new listeners, like trying to find the artist, potentially being having difficulty because there is so much AI slop copies floating around. But even then, the amount of views, amount of listens that the original work would have is going to far outweigh what any of this AI slop is getting. And so those songs are going to be more recommended. So I really don't think it's going to be as big an issue uh, finding your artist's original work.
Artists that you can name. And look, even if you're not somebody who listens to a whole lot of chart topping music, this stuff is going to flood your feeds too. It's going to be in your face, day in, day fucking out. And it's going to be getting algorithmically pushed because, one, people are going to hate it. And the more hate that it gets, the more people are going to engage with it. And the more.
Now, this is a fair point. Theoretically, rage does feed the algorithm, but I don't honestly see that much engagement with AI generated content online. It could be just my feeds, but considering my feeds are empty of AI, I'm not the only one. I think it's just a lot of boomers getting tricked by AI and people that don't actually listen to music or listen to music as a to fill in the background noise. Not really people that love music that are actually listening or stumbling upon these songs. Because I don't know about you, but like at least in Apple Music, I don't have Spotify, so I can't say what the go is for Spotify. But there is no AI content on Apple Music as far as I can tell.
Or the algorithm's going to throw it in your face. There's also two going to be morons who like it, which is also going to juice it as well. And number three, all the billionaires connected to this whole AI thing, which is just five fucking corporations in a trench coat. They too want it to be successful because they're all invested in it, which is.
They're not invested in music AI. OpenAI, Google, Meta, they're not making it. They have no interest in generative music AI. They're making generative image and generative video AI and chat interfaces and coding. These are the areas that are going to have the biggest impact for the most industries, right? They're creating tools that humans can use to automate processes and speed them up. So, if you're a data scientist, you can just ask an AI to process a whole bunch of data for you and give you some outcomes that otherwise you would have had to do manually by hand. If you're a graphic artist, you can use generative image AI to generate assets that you can use to composite together and edit and produce an original piece of work. Again, image and video AI is only capable of reproducing what it's seen before. So, yes, that does mean it's really good at making Obama say something he didn't say, but it's really bad at creating an original character. So unless there's billionaires working at Suno and other companies, I don't think there's a lot of money invested in boosting the generative AI music. There's like what, one artist or a handful of artists that have scored record contracts. Honestly, we haven't seen an inundation of them, and there's been quite a bit of time where generative music AI has been around for. Most people see it as slop, and they're not willing to pay for it. And if they do stumble upon it on stream, they don't listen to the whole thing. So it may have a lot of views and a lot of comments, but it's not going to have a long listen time, which is usually the metric that makes things more popular or more recommended by music algorithms. It's not how many views did this get, it's how much of the song did the people stay and listen to, and how often do they come back to it. And people aren't coming back to generative AI music. They listen to it once, if that, and that's it.
There's another reason social media and big tech is going to continue shoving it down your throat. And if you think other mediums of entertainment don't also have this very same future coming around the corner, they very much do, because Disney as well just inked a similar deal with an AI generation platform, essentially greenlighting the idea that once they've figured out what the monetization process is going to be, their various intellectual properties, of which they own many, can be endlessly sloppified so long as they're getting, a bit of the residuals at the end of the day. So
Yeah, you have to pay attention to where the money's being made. The money isn't being made by the creators of AI slop. It's being made by the AI companies that are selling the service to create the AI slop. And all these narratives about AI replacing artists and replacing creatives is spurring on people who think that they've seen an opportunity, untalented people, to use AI to just pump out work after work, thinking that that's going to make them rich. But it's not, because it's obviously fake. It obviously has no taste. It obviously has no intent. It has nothing to say. There's no social commentary. There's no depth to the work. And that's why, really, AI is going to be a revolution for creatives, because AI is not magic. It's not artificial intelligence. It's not intelligent. It cannot be creative. It cannot actually question the work that it's making. It cannot avoid the norm and produce something original. That's why it's going to be best used in tools made to help artists. It will never be able to fully autonomously make something of substance. The billions here come from tricking people into thinking that it can.
guys, look, I don't come on here to be super doomer or super negative or like portray things as darker than they need to be. My intention here is not to upset you. And I'm not even coming on here to claim and say that.
Sorry, my puppy wanted to get up on my lap. Say hello. 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 His name is Jojo.
Like, I have all the answers and I guarantee this is all going to happen and it's really bad. And all we need to do is this to prevent it. I don't have that answer. I don't have that silver bullet. I am sorry. Even as me being Uncle Music himself, I don't know. I really don't know. All of this shit, unfortunately, is being forced upon me as well as you. And if there's any answer to any of this, we're just going to have to find a way communally to create hubs and spaces, safe spaces online where people are able to essentially weather this oncoming storm. Let's say, like, digitally speaking, AI fallout shelters where people with actually functioning, non stupid brains and people, who aren't bots can culturally come together and convene and have actual discourse and share music and share ideas and share art, again, in an AI free space where
This isn't a bad idea for reasons besides AI as well. See, a lot of the social media platforms are heavily botted. That's why advertisers have to increasingly spend more and more money to get the same reach that they did in 2010. And those bots get weaponized and, prop up conservative extremist voices, and also uh, make it almost impossible for smaller creators uh, that advertise their content to really get any organic growth, because you have to spend in the order of thousands and millions on advertising campaigns on social media to get significant reach these days.
Where we're not being constantly inundated with Lady Gaga, Chappell Roan, Justin Bieber remixes where they sing the Charlie Kirk song. I mean, if you go on YouTube, the website you
I
are on right now,
kind of
there are
like that.
already hour-long videos on here of just nothing but AI generated Juice World music, and people actually fucking listen to it. And again, if you think this shit is like inescapable now, it's going to get so much worse once the labels have figured out how they're going to get pennies or fractions of pennies off of every single time one of this, AI slop pieces of shit based on their content gets streamed. Once
They don't have to come up with a model. They already have the model. It's the music platforms. It's up to the music platforms to restrict the use of generated AI music, just like it is up to YouTube to restrict the use of generative AI. The money that they're making is off the users using their platforms to create the content. That's where the money is.
figure that out and they're basically a-okay with this happening, not only are they going to do everything they can in their power to push it, but for sure anybody willing to prompt this stuff all day and post it, they're going to catch a little bit of like, a fraction, a piece of the pie, which will incentivize enough idiots to make as much fucking AI Lil Peep music as they possibly can. Guys, again, this is not good. I feel like all the AI bullshit slop that
Also, there's no guarantee that even if they do allow generative AI to recreate existing copyrighted work, that the makers of that new piece of music or video or image, if we're talking about Disney, is going to be monetizable. Like, it's highly likely that it won't be. They'll be allowed to make it, they'll be allowed to post it online and share it, but I highly doubt that they'll be able to make a dollar off it.
we have been hating so much, and I know, frankly, a lot of you are tired of hearing about. We're just at the start of what this is going to be. And while personally, I don't predict that this is going to, like, destroy music and destroy the world forever and completely take over and, ruin life and mankind as we know it, I do think it is going to be a lot like, a dark period and a storm that a lot of us are going to have to weather and figure out as many ways as we personally can in our own lives, shut it off, block it, ignore it, and just focus on things that are actually worth your time and worth your attention.
This is really overstating it, I think. I don't think we're going to notice, honestly. I think if you are not invested in the space, like Fantano is a music critic, right? He's invested in the space. He's keeping up to date with the news. He's probably seen a lot more generative or heard a lot more generative audio than the average listener that is listening to music they already have, or new releases from artists and getting recommendations from music platforms. Because he's been around it a lot more and had to report on it, it's front and center in his mind, and he thinks it's going to be a massive issue that everyone's going to have to deal with. It's not. There's an upper limit to, like, we've already seen what AI generative music can do. There's nothing more that they can do with it. Using existing artists to generate more AI slop is not going to help them at all, because at the end of the day, the lyrics are just so bad because they rely on conventions that are the most popular. Even if you made a Lady Gaga song, it's not going to sound like a Lady Gaga song. It's just going to sound like her singing it. And even then, it's going to sound too perfect. I think algorithmically, the AI slop is gonna be ignored by the majority. You may have like cafes that put on playlists of covers or something like that, and that's a different argument to have. But really, for the majority of music generated by AI, no one's listening to it.
Focus on real art, real creativity that actually moves us, because this is exactly what big corporations and the labels and rights holders have been wanting to do, dying to do. Find out like the ultimate way to cut out the artist entirely and simplify their whole business model by just creating stuff that will grab people's attention out of thin air. And it's going to be on to us to not only foster communities and business models where people who are making actually good stuff, authentically good stuff, and making it themselves, create communities and spaces where those people can thrive, but also do everything that we can to make sure that like most of our attention is not being stolen away by, all of the AI slot bullshit that, for sure is going to be wild and out there and attention grabbing. So attention grabbing, it's going to be hard to ignore all the time, but it is going to be a test of fortitude to actually focus on and see.
This is making a lot of assumptions. Like, I haven't listened to a single generative AI thing or seen a single generative AI work that has grabbed my attention, that I've been able to read any meaning into, that wasn't surface level, or even then, not even surface level. What it is going to replace is derivative and automatable work. So, producers will get new tools that are able to create loops and beats really quickly. And then they can heavily edit those and take those pieces and put it into a new original work. It's That's the only area where AI is consistently able to achieve some sort of quality. When you give it all the work itself, it just falls apart. So, yeah, stock images, probably can't make any money off that anymore. But then again, could you anyway in 2023? By that time, there's so much stock imagery out there that no one needs anything new. And likewise, loops and, hooks and little pieces of music are not going to be as valuable anymore. And really, it's just going to stop those Instagram ads of 9,000 free effects for your music type of advertisements, because there'll just be an AI that can do all of those effects itself. It's actually going to make it a lot cheaper for producers to actually produce, because they spend thousands of dollars at the moment on loop and sample packs that can be replaced with AI. So this is actually a boon for creators, not the opposite.
Seek out music and art that is worth our time, just ignore the noise, push it to the side, and be good, capable stewards of artistry and creativity.
Yeah, like it works as is. Like there's a reason why there are mainstream artists and then there are indie artists and then there's all the crap after that. You know? Like already low effort work is not rewarded. It's just going to be the same with AI.
And then reassess once, I don't know, all this bullshit is over and this bubble has popped and this nightmare is over. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Hopefully, you guys, I don't know, aren't too freaked out and are maybe encouraged, because I think once the labels and I think once Disney and other rights holders allow like the tap to just be opened on this stuff, it's going to create a flood. And it's a flood you don't want to get caught up in, believe me. I think that's all I have to say for now. Over here next to my head is another video you can check.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit sensationalist with his takes there, and uh, it all relies on a fundamental misunderstanding of what AI is capable of and what it is useful for and what it isn't useful for. Uh, and not understanding the limitations in terms of creativity and novelty that it has. It's not the end of the world. It's actually a really good opportunity moment for artists and creatives. There's a reason why AI isn't replacing frontline workers and customer service. It's because they need a human touch because humans can detect humanity. It's replacing data and automated tasks that are part of bigger pictures. It's just funny, like, to think if people had the same argument for CGI, like computer generated imagery. Like, can you imagine if Jurassic Park came out and they were like, can't believe they're just going to make everything 3D. They're not going to need actors anymore. They're just going to make everything in the computer. Did that happen? No, because still humans can detect when something is artificial and it just breaks the connection to it. So, yeah, don't worry. Stop catastrophizing and start looking into tools that are built around AI if you want to get productivity boosts and really enhance your craft, because that's where the money is. That's what people are actually banking on and what actual artists are using today, that don't just boycott AI on some ethical issue that isn't an issue. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And please don't worry about AI. You're going to be fine.